attending for personal reasons, and so is David. I think that's it, right? Everybody else is here. Justin, yeah, is in teacher conferences. We're hoping Addison shows up.
He's supposed to be.
All right. So let's see, review manifest, we did that. Minutes, we need a motion to accept the public and non-public minutes of October 11th.
I'll make a motion. Can I make a motion to accept the slate minutes, or do you want to do it
Oh,
separately?
I mean, yeah, we can do them all together. So there's a
Okay.
motion to accept public and non-public minutes of October 11th, public and non-public minutes of October 24th, and a motion to accept public minutes of October 26th.
Second.
So Holly's.
Yes, I made that motion.
You made that motion and
Gina-
Gina seconded. Any
Gina's
discussion on them?
No, I was good.
I didn't have any either, so all those in favor?
I.
Any opposed? So moved. That brings us to citizen comments. Would just like to remind anybody to state their name first. I don't know if anybody's here. We have no one here. Oh. iPhone, do you have any comments? iPhone.
Oh, no, the asked on mute. Oh, okay.
Okay, moving on. Student presentation from the newspaper. Are they here today? Or are they in?
She couldn't make it, but I wanted to just present the template, which I think you all received.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Which
printed it
looks
out.
like this. So Kaylee Howe, a student, came to me, asking if they could start a school newspaper. And I said, yeah, if you could find somebody to kind of be advise and oversee it. And Alexis Johnson has volunteered to be a part of that. So this is what, again, it's going to be looking like, and we'll present it out. It'll be ready for the December school board meeting. Alexis couldn't make it tonight, so,
Yeah.
but I think it's gonna be exciting. You know, we've got the middle school school newspaper, and so now, you know, high school doesn't want to be left out. And, they understand I'm the final say, and I edit the final draft or final copy.
Right,
But, you know, it's again, what's all good things. So if you know, the front page, Matilda, looking at that, dangers of vaping, I think that's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
I'm writing my principal's corner, you know, they'll do sports, the musical,
yeah,
all those kinds of things, teachers at lounge with other teachers putting things.
yeah, I
in.
thought that was
So,
cool.
Yeah, and it looks very professional, you know,
Looks great.
and I'm excited to wait to see how it really finally pans out. But another way to get that information out, you know, our clubs and such. National Honor Society, all those things,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, I liked it.
It'll be great, yeah, and I know Ms. Thompson's looking at potentially having this become an ELO for students. Which would be fantastic
Oh, that would
also,
be cool.
so it's exciting.
So you said the middle school has a
Yeah,
newspaper?
they through the skill set, which was that, yeah, there's
So
hanging around
and
here.
I
Yeah,
That was the one
it's,
from last.
yeah,
month,
last
right?
month.
That's it?
Yeah, last-
yeah,
All
Yeah.
right,
and that came out of the skill set with Ms. Howard or Brittany Ball, whoever what the name is now. And there's a new group actually doing the next newspaper,
okay,
and it's more middle school themed.
sweet.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
First of all, I want the middle school one is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So,
well done.
so top notch. She is. And, Alexis, like John said, it's like agreed to take this on. So the OSTCP grant will support both movers.
Oh, nice.
You know, gauge on the copy, she just printed it.
Yeah.
But color copies are not cheap.
Yeah,
We
right.
want to look like newspaper. So the grant will support it, so we are gonna have a, in line with the grant, I'm asking Alexis to have a career corner. I think she's gonna start and ask maybe elementary school kids about what they want their careers, maybe tie in some voices from elementary.
Yeah.
too. So, I think that's gonna be a nice connection, and then if it takes off, if there's enough kids, we'll be able to count it. Well, we'll be able to use that, any of this as the yellow credit for them. So,
Sweet.
the discussion came about today and it turned into this whole idea of maybe a journalism course.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it was just a nice
Yeah.
discussion, and nice way to think about it. Be back to the hour. And we also do the big case for the.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to remember the name of it. Pacer
recap.
recap, yeah,
Backwards.
backwards.
Yeah.
Pacer and Pacer.
Oh, that's
recap.
so
Recap
clever.
is pacer
Yes.
backwards. Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
That
yeah,
is-
and like I was gonna say, cause I remember just recently I
smarter
was
than
digging
me.
through my stuff, trying to find something, and I kept one of those because myself and Officer Toilette at the time, he was here, went to the leaders lunch, I don't know if you were on free tag then, where they would have people come into the elementary school and have lunch with the kids, and then we're interviewed, and he and I did that, and that's probably like over 10 years ago, well over 10 years ago. And I kept that one, so I was
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, newspaper, and we're doing it again now,
Yeah,
so,
that's nice.
yeah.
That's cool.
yeah,
All right. Well, thank you, John, for that.
cool.
Superintendent's report. David's not here, so if we have any questions, Jane will try to answer. Is my understanding. I know that,
Budget stuff was a little, like, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It felt
the
good.
update.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
I was like,
With
well,
the
that
data
fits,
renewal.
cause the
Yeah.
ESSA funds have kind of been, you know. a
Right.
thing.
yeah.
and I know the Alma part of his report, we're gonna talk more next month about. So. Were there any questions?
No.
All right. So then we have Jane's report, this administrator's report. The only question I had for Eugene was, do we have an ETN when the board will meet with admins about budget? Do you have a
I don't think
timeframe?
It's gonna be too far off. I got budget out to elementary school today. A lot of wage pieces to fit in, but the actual process is pretty quick. I mean, everyone's been doing their work, so it's just a matter of meeting with Dr. Ryan and I, and then as an admin team, we all need to meet together to discuss,
Mhm.
overall. I'm gonna say probably, with the holidays, I would say probably second week of December. maybe.
That's close to when, I look
That's-
back and like
yeah.
December 5th or 6th
Yeah.
was when we usually do it that week, so good.
Yeah.
I wanna say, I did say last meeting, just on tape, so I wanna make sure I correct myself. I said how over the budget committee last year, we gave them it over Thanksgiving, and they looked at it, and I sent you guys an email when I went back and looked at my emails, it was actually over, right, the board approved the budget to go, like, we had our work session early in December, then we approved it at our December meeting to go to the budget committee, and they had it before the Christmas holidays
Mhm.
to review it, so
Okay.
not Thanksgiving. So, yes,
Yeah, that would be early.
yeah,
All right, perfect.
And I will be attending the budget meetings, for any
Yeah.
questions that they
Good.
have, I'll attend right throughout the session, so.
We thought it would just be
Good,
easier
yeah.
that way,
yeah,
instead of me trying to bring back questions and,
yeah, because Tom would go for the last maybe 3,
yeah,
but
Jody
it's-
did
yeah,
too.
it was good
Yeah.
I'm gonna
for,
go for as
yeah.
many as I can get
That's
to.
awesome.
I think it's good to keep them abreast of everything, right along. As you know, the budget's gonna look a little bit different as far as the book that we're bringing, and, they seem very receptive to what we're moving towards with having more transparency, more of that information. So some of that information that's it comes from the state or whatever, I can present some of that as the meeting goes, just to
Mhm.
kind of, have them understand it as it goes, and I will do the same with you. We can attach it, maybe some of the reports, but we will see it
Yeah.
all compiled in the final report. One other thing I did want to just bring up, the DOE has approved our reports. We're just waiting. I know the town has theirs in, I have mine in. We're just waiting for the Department of Revenue to finish their review and set my tax rate.
Good.
So,
they'll be setting tax rate, we don't.
what
town
happens
sets the
is the
tax rate.
town does their piece,
Mhm.
and then the Department of Revenue auditor will call me. We're like the last step. So they will say, okay, we have your MS 25, we have your MS 24, any changes, and they may even say, you know what, we might want to have you just change this number a little bit. Once they do that, and I say, nope, I think we're good, then they go back to the town, they're like, here's the rate. So we're kind of the last piece.
Oh, okay, because the way you said that, we said it was there really, so the selectmen really said it. I didn't think we got that involved, but.
Sounds like the Department of Revenue.
Right, I know.
No, but the selectmen do a whole piece
They
beforehand.
do, what
and-
happens, like I can see, and they can see the school district information, I can see theirs in the Department of Revenue portal, so I
Yeah.
can see where the town is at, and they're at pending. And so, our report has been approved, just the revenue report is just waiting for them, but that usually is, once they wrap up with the town, they will call me about that. And once we're okay with our stuff, then they go back to the town and here's your rate.
And I would think it would go, ours would go down, because what we had to raise for taxes. You know,
But the
is it-
town approved like, it was
But-
like $1 million.
But our rate,
Our
not,
rate.
Yeah,
but a few years ago, our amount to be raised because of, it was, I don't know if it's first year of S or even before that, went down by like 500,000, and our amount on the tax rate went down a small amount, and the town didn't have as big of a decrease, and theirs went down like over $1. So even though our money goes down, what we are asking for, somehow it always doesn't always work out that, but ours should drop, I
Mhm.
would think, and the town should go up because they were up $1 million.
Right.
I know the town should go up.
So the rate should stay probably close to the same, because ours went down 600,000, and theirs went up $1 million. So that, I'm expecting it, that ours will look a lot better.
Right,
One of the things that will be presented in that budget book is I do a year over year so that you can see what portion of your tax rate
Mhm.
is the school and that local tax from the state
Mhm.
and the town and the county, just so you can kind of track that.
Mhm.
I know as a board member and budget member, you know, I used to hear, oh, 75% goes to the school. I always wanted to know, so I do that now, you'll see that in the book, so
Mhm.
that, you know, there's no estimating.
Right, this is
it.
what's happening.
Here's the number.
Yeah.
And I think that will be so helpful going into the budget year, having like,
More
it's not
information is always-
debatable,
yeah.
these are the numbers, it is what it is,
We've given that number out before, that breakdown before, but it's never been
like in the
a
book.
part, yeah, I think the presentation
I
is.
think, yeah, I was
So
gonna
it's
say,
gonna be, it's gonna have a lot of the same info, maybe a little bit
It'll
more,
have
but
the same
the,
info,
yeah.
but the
you know,
presentation
you'll
will be
see year
easier.
over year,
Yeah.
And, I'd like to do a write-up on the trend,
Mhm.
just so you maybe understand what you're
Mhm.
reading a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect. I think it will be a smoother budget year. I'm
Yes.
excited.
knock on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Any other questions? All right, Director of Personalized Learning.
Madam Chair, you got my report. I will practice by saying we intend to do some, SAS presentations tonight, but we're putting them on the
Yeah.
budget. And we'll have a district report to give out.
I have a question about Portrait of a Learner, when is that starting?
No, that, well, we've done some,
Mhm.
we've done some data work already, the core group. I have an email ready for, well, actually Carolyn just called me about November 30th. That'll be the first core group meeting, and then, it'll, at that meeting, we will lay out the rest of the next 4 months of calendar, so November 30th is a Monday night.
So by the core group, does that mean like, would I be involved with that
Yes,
as the board?
yes.
Okay,
So
November
November 30th.
30th.
April are the 2 people that asked to be on it.
did we have 2 people? I thought it was, oh,
I don't,
I don't remember
I'm-
now.
yeah, I don't either. I'm, whatever.
I don't,
Like, if
Yeah.
we're full of board members, I'm also parent.
Okay, so that, I'll just add you to that, that'll be great.
we can't have 3,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
that's-
can't.
I know
have
that,
board
well, if you guys
members.
want to do it, I'm fine with not having another
So
meeting on
you
my
have-
schedule.
you're-
I'm good
you're
with that.
happy right
So
now.
if
Not
you
that I
have
wouldn't
something
want all
to
the
get
information. Yeah.
Ready to go. so
Yeah, that's fine.
But I'll have to add you to that. We have parent members, Chief Rataj, it will be on the committee, both principals, and 2 teachers from the high school asked to do that, which I was happy to see. So, that core committee really is just gonna meet for the first time to hear what we gathered so far, and then to talk about, just keeping up with who really NHLI takes it from there
Mhm.
and starts the process of gathering focus groups. I think the biggest first question is going to be, who do we want our focus groups to be? And who's the people we have to reach to really get a lot of voice into it?
Mhm.
So that's gonna be the first meeting discussion. We'll have a meal, it'll be, like I said, November 30th here, but you'll get information.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Great.
And I just had a question about the social studies and science curriculum. Is that district wide? Okay, great.
Well, mostly, we're looking at the culture and review process is similar to what Jean did with business services and stuff with the ELA curriculum.
Yeah.
We'll begin the process, middle high school teams, and then that'll be, I think, year one, and then we'll bring the rest of the district. But we're starting with social studies first because we really have nothing in the state to go on. Right. That's the hardest thing for us. So, we just identified what the team, that's going to be our programming group. And then with some of them, we'll be going to a national conference that we're excited to send our teachers out to see what's happening.
Right.
Well, it's just very well. It's good. It's just a struggle not having any guidance in state.
Right, and it's a lot of work.
Yes, that's right. So I am excited about the process. I think it's gonna be great to finally dig into social studies. And we know that all the areas are a priority, but we can't go all at once.
Mhm.
Those are the two that we identified as a start.
I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to the yellow presentation day because of this chit chat thing. I'm curious to see how different it'll be presentation wise.
Yeah, the teacher committees and the kids have done quite an amazing job with the first round of them.
Mhm.
And 6 minutes, that's all they are. They're very short. The present, their exhibitions are not.
Right, obviously.
But this is a practice. But
Yeah.
It's interesting to give them a guidance to say, this is all you can do. You have to get everything.
Mhm.
And to fill in that part. And the interesting thing is Mr. Hughes and I, our future learning pathways, kind of do it as adults at our future learning, so we kind of do our own, so we were able to demonstrate a little bit. So yeah, it's been fun to watch the kids do that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see their learning and their understanding of competencies. It's been the most impressive to me already.
Mhm.
Like their understanding of their own competencies. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Oh, that's exciting. I feel like everyone should do that. Like when I have a class and the professor just reads the PowerPoint.
Oh,
like,
yeah, right.
Send it to me.
Yeah, right?
Done this at home.
Right?
So
I
that's
always
a
hate
good
that.
skill. Yeah.
We had a lawyer, we was at a school board conference down near Boston in September, and there was an attorney that did that. It was the last presentation of a 3-day conference, and
And to just read it.
Just
I am
read the
literate, I'll
slides.
read it myself.
like I could be halfway home by now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic. I'm excited.
Well, not gonna say they don't count on it.
Right,
So
right.
they're still not there,
Yeah.
but
but-
the next round, at the end of the next quarter, they won't be allowed, they're gonna have a back off for them.
Great.
It's a good skill.
Yeah, it is. All right, any other questions for? Thank you, Karen. Principals report, Mr. Barr?
So you have my report, you know, some of the highlights, next week, Fly New Hampshire, which is a thing that happens with all, high schools in New Hampshire. It's a great program
Yeah.
and, as many students should take advantage of it as possible. And then any student that applies to colleges in New Hampshire, or anywhere, then are put in and they could win a $500 scholarship.
Oh,
nice.
So,
Sweet.
and each school gets that, so
Yeah.
as long as you apply, so.
So one student from
at least
every
one
school?
student, yes. from every
Oh,
school. So,
Sweet.
you know, yeah,
That's quite a program.
I know.
yeah, it's been around for a couple of years now.
Really?
I guess I hadn't heard of it before.
Yeah.
Either. That's
And then they get
exciting.
to apply with no fee,
Right.
right? Which is
Right.
great,
Yeah.
because that's especially for
Yep.
our area.
Yeah.
I know it was hard. Oh.
I had a stink bug over here.
Yeah, but it was a
Stink bug, oh.
Yeah.
But I thought it was ready to.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are mice
Alright,
in here,
so-
so it's better than mice.
Okay, good job, Karen, thank you.
So,
Okay.
all right, focus. And, you know, we finished up, PSAT testing. We should have the results hopefully by the December board meeting. Now that it's done digitally, we get the results a lot quicker, so we should have them by the end of November. We're having glitches in that middle high school with the maps data. it's. And I know we've tested the kids because I've been some of them testing,
Mm,
but somewhere in the back end or whatever, and Justin's trying to work on that. Where I can't generate a report that you could see growth,
oh,
and we can't even pull up student profiles. So if I'm an 8th grader, it still shows me as a 7th grader, and it's
Wow.
not somewhere,
something,
it's gotta be a quick. But it's frustrating.
right?
And then our PLCs met now twice about the Gallup poll results. They presented to each other. Today's Wednesday, so yesterday. And then we'll give you more information, but you folks have seen that back in the spring. But a lot of the discussion has been about how do we do a better job recognizing kids to get them engaged and seeing the importance of education at Hinsdale and beyond. And then the other piece of that is, looking, and Dr. Ryan is also, this is a goal for him, is to get our kids out beyond this general area and visiting, community colleges and stuff. So that's why December 6th, going to National Community College will be important. And because that's a bit of our population too. I was talking at a parent conference tonight. And get these kids out to the 2-year tech programs.
Mhm.
And so that's exciting and.
Yeah.
Again, giving them more exploration of what is out there at an earlier age.
Yeah,
Not waiting till just their senior year. So, and again, the principal advisory group has been meeting, and I've got calls into 2 schools about going to visit similar size. Same kind of grade configuration, and how they're sharing staff, if they're sharing staff, and looking at master schedules. Because our goal is to start in January, schedule. Yeah, yeah. So.
great. Any questions for Mr. Yar? Thank you, Mr. Berg. And Mr. Bogio.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Have my report kind of gives you like a preview of the stats data, because I do mine early in the morning and then things happen. So we're beginning to make adjustments on it, but gives you a little taste.
This,
First part, can you just tell me what that is?
So
Yeah, I looked over.
I don't know what that means.
It's a snippet of where kids were when we went into the pandemic and remote learning. So
Okay,
if you go over like the 1920 year was the year of
I
of
see.
COVID, so the kids that our current 5th graders, right, 23, 24, you back up to 1920, you see they missed the end of 1st grade. And then they spent 2nd grade in cohorts where they weren't able to really, we didn't really do interventions the way that we've been doing them in the past. And then so on. So like if you wanted to find out the 6th graders, 23, 24 is the white, on the diagonal, go back, they were in 2nd grade in 1920, and then 2021, they were in 3rd grade when they were cohorted. So, it goes all the way up to 12th grade, but it wouldn't fit on the page.
Right.
Kind of gives you an idea. Because when we were in the SEL meeting, the behavior support meeting, we talked about the large 9th grade class, which I think also has an influx of 12 new students or something from outside. It just,
Okay, wow.
and
That's a lot.
and then we were like, well, what grade, what did they miss? And they missed a lot of, that middle year socialization. And then I said, well, we're seeing a lot of behaviors in kindergarten. What did they miss? So then you look at the kids that are in kindergarten, you go back and they're 2 and 3 years old. So they families are under stress. Kids didn't socialize and
Right.
care and play groups the way that they were in
Mhm.
other years. So there's those things to overcome, and also, academic wise and social emotionally. So that's why I wanted to put that together. It kind of helps me to say, all right. So 3rd graders probably need some help in basic reading
Mhm.
because they missed a lot.
Cool. It does look like, we're trending up or better. trending.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going the right, thank you. That's what I was trying to say. That we're definitely going in the right direction.
Yeah, like I said in the narrative, though, with the exception of the one class at sixth grade.
Yeah,
Hasn't gone in the right direction necessarily.
right.
You know, pre-pandemic, we were hitting close to 50th percentile.
Right,
40%,
yeah.
46, 47. So there's still a long way to go.
Yes.
Percent coefficient.
We're getting there.
At least we're going in the right.
Right,
direction.
right, yeah.
Not going yet.
John mentioned the math data, and I did some analysis on math data, and most of the time kids that scored above the 60th percentile at like in this winter, actually, not necessarily in the fall, in the winter, they would end up getting 3 or 4s on the state test. There's a few outliers, but that's pretty much the rule of thumb.
Mhm.
So we need to do a lot of work between now and the winter because these numbers don't reflect improvement still.
Mhm. Any questions, for Mr. Bogio? Thanks, Mr. Bogio.
Welcome.
IT, Justin's not here. I know they're working on the cameras and air quality sensors still, so that's good.
Okay, I was wondering, I have a question. I was like, 3D sensors, like, so it's air quality sensor? Oh, those are the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Their official name though is air quality sensors.
Right.
Slang for me.
I will say the kids are definitely talking about those because my middle schooler, if someone is vaping in the bathroom, won't stay to pee. Like, smart.
Yeah, right?
You better do that.
Yeah.
She leaves immediately. I'm like, good, because if I get any kind of
Right?
report. Yep. So they're definitely talking and concerned about, at least my kids concerned. about getting caught.
Yeah. And then we have a facilities report. Anybody have any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. So new board business, we're moving the New Hampshire SAS and the Alma information to next month. ESER 3 updates. I'm assuming that's you, Jane, right?
It'll be Karen and I together.
Okay.
Plus, we have John and Joe, we're all kind of part of that ESER review. A lot of hands and heads go into that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm still looking for it here.
So you have Dr. Ryan's chart
Yes.
on it. So we did this year, our first reallocation work, which is always fun.
Mhm.
And our hope is that we do one now and then one in March, and then we have to, then we're done, we have to
Yeah.
spend it down. So, so you see, I mean, you have it in front of you. I'm not sure if you have lines that you have questions on. You know, we had the funds that were not allocated were the 69,000 at the top. That was what we started with, funds that needed to be allocated, and these were the list that you have below up until the area we need to add, which is the behavior specialist piece. Those are all things that we will be giving back. That just we didn't need to spend,
Okay.
we weren't using. So that all ended up back in the pot, and then we need to we need to take away the 47,000 for behavior specialists and the final set of cameras, which will be a whole new activity in the grant we have to write. So that will come out of it, and then our final remaining pot right now will be 60. After we do those two, will be 63,000. So those lines you see are the pieces that as a team we went through and realized that we're just not using. We don't need that money, so we're putting it back in.
Great. Any questions? None about it, none of the explained,
Yeah,
I
I was just saying,
understand it a little more.
I was just saying that was helpful.
That's
Yeah, that-
okay. 'Cause I looked at it, it's like,
I wasn't getting it
Yeah.
either. Was
The
it?
math and get to that bottom number, but what the,
Right.
what are we saying?
So any of those lines
Yeah.
that you see, like I said, are things that we just, from all the way through to,
Yeah,
I hope that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely, yeah. And I will say, you know, we talked about ESER 3 and Kayla, yeah, you can relate because you were on the board. When we first got ESER, like, that the fact that we are at ESER 3 and yeah, I can't believe it. Like, it seemed like a real long 3 years, but on the other hand, oh my God.
Yes, we'll be
You
done
know, it
in
went
47.
by, like the days are long and the years are short,
Short.
because I just can't believe we're talking about being done with
Yep.
ESER.
Yep.
You know, when how we all, oh my God.
it was
Man,
so
yeah,
much money.
It was
and I
so
couldn't
painful to
do
go
and-
through it all, yeah.
And then, so my concern, I'm gonna make Sean proud and say, so. My concern is just, you know, the impact on the budget and.
The fiscal
our-
cliffs.
Yeah, so I know we've been talking about it, but just being.
I will say that I feel like we are very attentive to that when we talk about, I mean, that was at the end of last year, the beginning of this year was very clear about, you know, we moved positions out so that that wasn't gonna be, you know, and also things that are in here that we know have been successful and we know we want to keep both principles. I know we're thinking about how are we assessing that? How are we making sure that we know that these are things we need, and how are we going to think about adding that into the budget slowly if necessary? So I think we've done a really good job of being aware of fiscal cliffs. I know all the way back to 2 superintendents ago, that was always on the forefront of our mind about
Yeah,
let's not.
spending the money in a way that's not going to cost
Right.
us money.
Yeah.
Mhm. Any more questions about this or? Thanks, guys. Other business. Right, I know Joe we need for non-public, but I don't think we need Karen or Mr. Barth, right?
The
For
only
this-
thing, I need John's on policy, we rescheduled our next meeting last night, so I don't need him here for that, so, yeah.
So if you don't want to go and.
Oh my.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know, we cut like whole pieces out, it's like.
I know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Jeez. Those bugs.
Sorry, Mr. Bogey. You have to stay. Sorry. It should go fairly quickly.
You're not gonna, God,
Right,
nothing
right now.
bad could happen.
I was kidding. It's not allowed.
No, Joe is just acting.
He's practicing.
Yesterday, he was gonna say, he's just acting.
He's really owning it.
Right. Thanks, Karen. All right, so committee reports. Behavioral support team.
So we had a meeting last week, this past, I mean, it was really like just a few days ago, but I cannot remember. The SEL focus, the meeting, staff meeting was SEL focus, that was in the elementary school. And they talked a lot about, what their successes were, what common successes were in the school, what common struggles were, so they, broke that down. And Joe gave us this really cool handout that some of the teachers are using to kind of help the little ones kind of self-regulate, just.
Ooh.
This is
Yeah.
cool. You take the finger and you breathe and trace, and then come back, and
Yeah.
you just slow down and breathe.
Can you send that to us? No, honestly, just because some other kids, we might know people in
I
our
thought it
lives
was
that can
really great, and then
benefit.
there's like a morning check-in page that
Oh,
they use. and like,
Oh,
That's
cute.
Oh, that's so helpful. What did you eat for
Yeah,
breakfast? So when they say
exactly.
nothing. you're
Oh, then
Right.
you know, yeah.
And we talked a little bit about the high school. They did the responsive classroom training,
Yeah.
and we talked about the ninth grade and the very large 55 kid ninth grade.
Mm.
Yeah.
And just the discipline problems with that class
Yeah.
in particular.
We've been talking about that since they were like, what, fifth grade?
I
Sixth
think
grade, yeah.
that- Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's so funny because
Um,
that's my kid's grade. I'm like, when is it kid?
We talked, I wanted to make sure like the sixth graders that are coming in now, like after being in fifth grade and having that,
Hmm,
training, let's call it. The sixth grade is responding well. They're doing okay. Vaping detectors are in, we talked about that. If you get caught, there's like a mandatory cessation class that you have to take. And they are, the children are becoming crafty and finding ways to mask the vaping
of course.
in the bathroom.
Oh.
I mean,
Hmm.
if they apply themselves
No, it's like.
to their work, as much as they apply themselves to getting away with things sometimes,
Innovation, no comment.
yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're finding ways to get
Yeah,
around the detectors.
Well,
At least they have to work for it.
right.
that'll keep the detector manufacturers on their toes.
Right.
They just have to,
Yeah.
Updating.
And since we decided to meet quarterly, our next meeting is in January.
Okay, like I should have.
I know I haven't. been-
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you do?
Budget committee. We
Oh,
touched
I
on.
have,
oh,
I
you
have
something?
that. From Kendra,
Maybe it's February. It's February.
it's February.
For the budget committee?
No.
Oh, from
Hey,
Oh,
Gabriel, sorry.
in
So
February's too
I'm like,
late.
we don't have a meeting next
they're
week.
all done with that life. Okay, so a woman from the Connecticut River Conservatory came to discuss the hydro dams renewal contracts and how it all affects our communities, and she encouraged anyone within our town to reach out with questions, concerns, or even compliments on how the dam affects us as individuals and a community. The selectmen went over the predicted budgets for the upcoming year, and the schools were not open in this meeting.
Is this budget committee or is this selectmen?
that's selected.
Oh.
We,
Sorry, guys.
we weren't quite there. That's why I was like, a budget? I'm like, budget?
Look, we're ahead of the game. Let's-
All right, well, that was select.
Well, that was done.
My bad, guys.
I'm just so happy she made it to what?
I know,
Can
and
I say that out
I
loud?
had her report and I just really
Yes.
wanted to make sure I got it out.
You
there for
were,
her.
you were
I
great.
told her I would do it.
You
Mission
did
accomplished.
awesome. All right, now budget committee.
Sorry, got excited.
We touched on it a little bit. Our next meeting is on the 16th. And hopefully we'll have the final one by then, right?
Yeah.
So at 6:30. So we're moving along in the process. I don't think there's anything much to say there. Community connections, we're posting and obviously if there's any information I need to get out, let me know. Facilities, I wrote up a little report because there was a lot going on. So I figured I'd just get it out so I wouldn't forget anything.
Making
Alternate.
Sean proud. because
I
Sean used to
know.
do these.
I'm the alternate for that, right?
Yes.
Didn't we decide we only had one person?
Kayla,
Facilities,
yeah.
Kayla, yeah.
Yeah,
I usually will know when it shows up, yeah, which is
right,
fine.
because,
If I can't, then you would.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just because some of them say alternate and I was like, it doesn't say alternate.
No,
Did am I screwing
No.
something else up too?
Yeah, I think the second one is always.
like,
alternate
yeah, pretty
or-
much.
Except for
Okay,
community
I
connections, we
just
kind of
got-
tag team, it,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then negotiations.
And negotiations,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, just wanted.
And
to
the
confirm.
superintendent committee and
Okay, so now maybe we should. Maria,
that one is pretty much
be
alternate.
next to my name, so I know I'm not being.
Yeah, when we get to the
So she knows she's not missing a meeting.
Yeah.
when we get to the third exception, then we
I
just
know.
think what we just said.
Alternate for facility.
Yes.
Thank you. Helps me.
Any questions on what I've given you?
That's a pretty big. Loss to be trying to cover.
Yeah,
Sounds like they're in the thing.
yeah. It seems like they're gonna review it next week and come up with a plan, I think, right?
And not burn people out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we did send an email out district-wide, just to kind of say to people, you know,
You
we're
to clean up after
shorthanded right
yourself.
now, please understand, but let us know if there's something that needs immediate attention.
And
Good.
hopefully everyone's helping out.
All right, so facilities, so HASP, I wasn't able to make it to, and Kendra wasn't here also, so. Can you speak to HASP?
Yeah, I took some notes.
Did you mind speaking to it?
So, we did our new, elections and I'm staying as, chair. John Bart's gonna be the vice chair and Andy Ariel's gonna be the secretary. Mary Ann reported that we do have a new state director, a woman by the name of Whitney McBee. And she's just getting her feet on the ground and, as she gets more acclimated to the position, we'll be giving more information about the government, performance requirements that HASP has to do. They have a big project, their community service project every year, and this time it's helping pause with the Monadnock Humane Society. The status of the programs, they're going strong, about 100 per day in the afternoon at the elementary level, and about 50 to 55 in the morning. And then at the middle school, there's 30 to 40, 35 to 40 in the morning program. And a smaller number in the homework club, but expecting to go up once basketball begins.
Hmm.
The big community thing that they're doing, as we talked briefly about, was the drama club. And looking for, they have high schoolers, 7 middle schoolers, and 22 elementary students. Mr. Pion has a strong background in theater, and he's getting a choreographer involved and,
Ooh.
and acting coaches from the camp that he worked at.
Oh, very cool.
So
That's exciting.
they're kind of gonna work in the, Karen's supported it with the out of school time career grant, and they're gonna work in like careers in theater.
Cool.
And thanks to Catherine Lynch for, they're gonna start rehearsals after the Thanksgiving break down at the town hall.
Oh,
So it's another effort to get out into the community.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be
cool.
nice.
And staffing is up to speed at this point in time. There's no more wait list. Thanks to help from Kathy Johnson, we identified a bunch of high schoolers and they're able to fill in the gaps. So things are going well in that respect.
Well, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Really amping up that program.
Right? Was that with, were they able to do that with the younger kids that wanted to start working?
I'm not sure what age
Okay.
group they're in.
I know we had talked about it last month.
Mary Ann mentioned a couple of names now and I can't recall.
Yeah. I was just curious if she was doing it with those. But that's good. Thanks, Mr. Bogio.
Well,
Legislation.
So we don't have a whole lot to report, it's just everything's all in
Getting
process. For HSBA, I went to the delegate assembly last month, everything passed. Yeah, so really not much to talk about. Not really legislation, but it's sort of, just want to mention, it doesn't affect us because he's not our state senator anymore, but Jay Kahn, who's always been our great friend and supporter, was elected mayor of Keene
Yeah,
last night with
right.
91% of the vote.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I read
so
that.
congratulations to our great friend Jay Kahn.
Yeah.
So excited for him.
That'd
So,
be nice to have them close.
yeah, I mean, he's mayor of
Oh,
Keene,
that's
so
so
it's
cool.
not really working with us, but Jay reaches across, he does
Yeah.
everything, so
He's been
He's
such an
fabulous.
advocate for us.
he's so fabulous, yeah. Yep, that's all I have.
Great,
Wow.
thanks.
Cool.
Yep.
Personnel committee. We are in the process of negotiations. Other than that, I don't think there's much else to say about that. Policy committee.
We met yesterday, so. We've never had a formal policy committee before, we talked about it for a long time, but so, basically we decided it was, so on the policy committee, it's myself. David, Joe and John and Addison and David weren't there, and Chris. Well, Chris isn't part of the committee, but he was there last night because of, the dress code. We were involving Chris when the certain policies. So we decided that we were gonna, because how it functions in a lot of boards, mostly bigger boards, is the policy committee reviews policies, how they would come to us before, and we kind of put them on hold now, last year and this year, but And then it would just come to the board after the policy committee does all the work, but we're just small and it's like, the board has always done policy, so we're gonna focus on like, last year we did the cell phone, spring. Right now, we're working on the dress code, staff and student dress codes, and we're gonna, that should be ready to come to the board, I don't have my notes, but February, right?
Yes, that'd be February.
Yeah, February for first read for the board and then a second read, final read in March. And we've just discussed John's involving students, you know, we might involve like the fifth graders and get their point of view for some things and then going forward, the policy committee will just be like doing bigger, not bigger important, but you know what I mean, but ones that more affect the day-to-day and the students and whatever, and the board will just do the regular updates and the annual ones, and I've done a spreadsheet that, you know, I'll get to the, well, I guess actually, maybe not even the policy committee if we're going this way, but pass it along to David and see how we want to handle it, where our policies are a mess. Cause for years, we were only doing like basically the bare minimum of what the NHSBA and what the annual ones we had to do. I know Jane has a lot of the financial ones we want to maybe start with, maybe in January, the board can start looking at those. But I have a whole spreadsheet outlining a whole organizing it and all, and I'll be done in March, so in April, if you guys want to continue somehow, you know, get them in order, but I thought it was a really good meeting. It was a very good discussion about the dress code and yeah, so it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be interesting. You know, you were on board last time when we did, but it was 2013. And students came and actually
They
presented.
presented, that was great.
Yeah, so we're hoping to do the same
Yeah.
sort of thing. And that way, it was,
They
you
have
know, they
ownership
had
of it.
ownership of
Yeah.
it. Now, of course, as those kids, that was 2013, so as the years go on and some things change and none of those kids are around anymore, then the other kids who are here start, you know, grumbling about it. So now it's their chance to be involved with it.
And they grumble, then they want to say, so it works out for,
Yeah,
you know, involvement.
yeah, so no, I think it's gonna be great, so.
I do know, because I'm taking it on November 14th or 15th, there's a training on a policy review.
Oh, yeah,
So, which
yeah.
I'm taking, so if anybody
Okay.
else wants to take
yeah,
it,
if I'm doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Holly.
Yep.
We did selectmen already.
Yep.
Check.
Staff development.
Have not had- Oh, you're not kidding. Wow. We haven't had a meeting.
Okay,
I'm supposed to be getting an email from her when we're going to be doing that, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm waiting.
waiting for an email, got it. Superintendent search committee, do you want to talk about it?
Yep, so we got the ad out, there was a little bit of, like Teresa and I put our ad, sent it to Michelle, but they had to get it up really quickly because Becky from the School Boards Association who posted it was going on vacation yesterday. And so there are some typos and whatnot, from what we even suggested. So Maria, I had forwarded Maria some emails back and forth between Michelle and myself today, and Maria did, you know, corrected some things. So hopefully Michelle can get into school spring. She needs like an access or something, but Maria has a nice version on letterhead that maybe we could send it out to the board, so they can see it, do you think?
Oh,
The posting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hadn't. We didn't-
Oh, no, yeah, we just did it like right before this meeting, like I was reading it on my phone on my way home. But yeah, so, we think we're gonna have a good response because it's full time and it's, you know, because we did have some people before who would be more interested if it was not 60%, so, yeah, so we're excited. I don't have my notes here, but I think, it's posted, the deadline is like January 2nd or something. I
Yeah,
think.
it's right after the
Yeah, the
holiday.
holiday, and then.
We're meeting on the 8th.
Yeah, and we're meeting,
to go
yeah,
over all of
and rank people and
Right.
whatnot, and we'll be getting the applications as they come in, Michelle will send them, and. So I think, so at our January meeting, we should have some, hopefully, more information to report, and then we do interviews, whatnot, so I mean, it'll be into February before
Right.
we probably have anybody to bring forward to the board, but. No, I think we're all feeling, yeah, you guys are on the committee too, we're all feeling very optimistic. So, at least I am.
I'm very excited to
So,
see
yeah,
what we
super
get.
excited. So, yeah.
All right, tuition exploratory committee.
I'm not seeing that we have had another meeting since the last one. I may be mistaken, but
Since we met with
David takes all
Winchester.
the notes for those, so, I don't have it in my calendar. so-
Okay,
I mean, we just met with Winchester, how
Yeah.
long ago was that? 2
But that
weeks?
was-
yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
cool.
so that makes sense if you haven't met. Yeah.
Wellness committee.
No meetings scheduled. No.
All right.
Joe, did we ever get the chair situation for wellness?
No, as far as I know.
Okay, so. And we had that big policy to
Yeah,
get through,
assessment.
yeah,
For
Mhm.
for a 3-year assessment.
right,
Yeah.
so should we?
Probably schedule something,
I know, should
get
we
something
schedule
scheduled.
something, or do you want to wait till after the holiday?
It's up to you guys.
What's the chair situation? You don't have one?
We don't have,
Oh.
well,
Well,
we
have
do,
An absent teacher.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
No
I know
one
who it
on
is,
it.
Yeah.
The vice chair was
but
former nurse,
Oh,
so.
so yeah, so you don't.
We're
vote.
kind
Yeah.
of
Can't really
chairless,
Go to the
Right.
vice chair either.
right, and it was kind of falling on Joe, and I know.
Hmm.
with-
I don't wanna do it.
Joe's like.
Right. I know.
I got enough
Yes,
going
I'm
on.
not it.
I don't know if it's the beard, but you got a whole different
I
vibe
know.
going, Joe. I love
Is
it.
it with the no shade November? thing?
No,
Yeah,
you have-
yeah.
I'm not raising any money, I'm just.
You
Just no
do it.
shaving.
It's not shaving for November.
Cause it's cold.
Yeah,
If you need
okay.
to, I can see about getting something pulled together and see if we can get a meeting in. I did get some guidance from the Department of Education's nutrition department
Yeah.
saying, hey, guys, you need to have this updated by the end of the year, and she sent some information along too,
Oh,
so
good.
maybe.
So you
pulling
guys should
something
meet
together
soon.
and yeah, and
So
bring
then-
that forth.
Yeah. I was
It
gonna
needs
say,
to be
so
by the
maybe
end
you
of the
shouldn't
year.
wait till
Yeah.
January. That
Yeah.
one's pretty bulky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
All right.
welcome.
So a meeting will be coming down the pipeline soon.
Yes.
All right, and we're back to citizen comments.
There are none.
And we have.
And nobody is here.
It's got it. Is that a first? Not a-
I know, yeah, nobody's here. And we've had a pretty fun meeting, I think.
Yeah. But where's
Little
Sean?
crazy.
All right,
He's he's at
Enforcement.
Academy.
Oh, okay.
And where it's like, usually Bill was usually.
I know he hasn't been to them in a while. All right, so we need to go into non-public.
I make a motion to go into public?
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
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 All right, we are in non-public as of 6:52.
Yeah, so she turns it on.